Welcome student to my YouTube channel Bharat Chem Study. Today we are going to study about the chapter 7 Acid, Bases and Salt for 7th standard of ICSE board. In our previous video we have studied about acids and their properties. Now in this part 3 we are going to study about bases. So bases, the definition of that bases are the compounds that react with acid to form salts and water. They are usually the oxides or hydroxides of metal, ammonium hydroxide here and ammonia also act as bases. Thus, sodium oxide, metal present with oxide, calcium oxide, iron 2 oxide and iron 3 oxide, copper oxide, sodium hydroxide which is having the formula NaOH, calcium hydroxide formula CaOH twice, ammonium hydroxide having the formula NH4OH and ammonia having the formula NH3. All these are bases. So first question comes in our mind that what are bases? So the simplest definition or the correct definition of bases is that the metal oxide or metal hydroxide where metal is present with OH or hydroxide, and these when react with acids give salt and water are called bases. For example, sodium hydroxide having the formula NaOH, it contains hydroxide added with it. Potassium hydroxide, it contains again hydroxide with potassium having the formula KOH. Calcium oxide, calcium plus oxygen. Magnesium oxide, magnesium and oxygen. And ammonium hydroxide having the formula NH4OH. All these contain either hydroxide or oxygen with them. Also, therefore, these all are bases because when they react with acid, they always form salt and water. So, acid when react with base. So, base definition is when base react with acid, it forms salt and water. For example, hydrochloric acid when react with sodium hydroxide. Again, in the salt, first name is come from metal. So, here metal is sodium. So, the name of the salt will become sodium, and we have already studied that from hydrochloric acid, the negative part is chloride. So, the name of the salt becomes metal sodium, and negative part chloride, metal chloride, and water is formed. And these reactions in which base react with acid form salt and water are called neutralization reaction, because after this reaction when sodium chloride in salt and water is formed, then no acid or no base remain, that is such solution become neutral. Similar way, when hydrochloric acid react with magnesium oxide, the name of the salt form metal is magnesium, and from hydrochloric acid chloride is coming, so the name of the salt become magnesium chloride and water is formed. In the same way, when sulfuric acid reacts with the ammonium hydroxide which is a base, so again here the positive part, the ammonium hydroxide is ammonium, and the negative part which is coming from sulfuric acid is sulfate. So the name of the salt form is ammonium sulfate plus water. When nitric acid reacts with the base like copper 2 oxide, because here why we have written 2, because the valency of the copper is 2 in this oxide. So when copper 2 oxide reacts with nitric acid, again in the name of the salt, metal is copper coming, and from nitric acid the negative part is nitrate. The salt form is copper plus nitrate plus water is formed. So these are the chemical reaction when base react with acid. Either they are metal hydroxide or they are metal oxides. Now alkalis. One more word, alkali, is used in cases of bases, but these alkalis are quite different from bases. How? Let's see, understand in the definition. Bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. So all those bases or metal oxide or metal hydroxide which are soluble in water, only then they are called alkalis. For example, sodium hydroxide NaOH, potassium hydroxide KOH are soluble in water. So they are called as base as well as alkalis because these bases are soluble in water. Calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, they slightly soluble in water. That means not totally soluble in water. They dissolve only to small extent. Therefore, they are called weak alkalis. The name word alkali is used because they are also soluble but to very small extent. Therefore, these are called weak alkali, but sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide is completely soluble in water. Therefore, they are called strong alkalis. Magnesium hydroxide, copper hydroxide, all other metal hydroxide or oxide are insoluble in water. So they are not called alkali. They are base, but they are not called alkali. So the conclusion which we will get from this, that all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. So again I am teaching sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide are strong alkalis, calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide are weak alkalis. All other bases are insoluble in water, so they are not called alkalis. Sometimes instead of called base, alkali word is used. So always remember the alkali word is basically used for NaOH and KOH. Neutralization reaction. The reaction in which acid or base react together to form salt and water. As a result, no acidic property remain in the solution, no basic property remain in the solution. That reaction is called neutralization reaction. So when acid reacts with base and result is salt and water, such solution in which water and salt is present, they do not show any acidic or basic property. So such reaction is called neutralization reaction. Sulfuric acid react with sodium hydroxide. The salt form is from this sodium hydroxide metal, sodium is coming from sulfuric acid negative part, sulfate is coming. So the name of the salt is sodium sulfate and water. A similar way, sulfuric acid when react with potassium hydroxide, the product is potassium sulfate and water. Similarly, hydrochloric acid react with calcium hydroxide, the product is calcium metal, and from hydrochloric acid chloride is coming, so calcium chloride plus water. So these are the word equation for the neutralization reaction occurring between acids and base from salt and water. What type of salt found in nature? Let's study them one by one. Sodium chloride salt first. It's a rock salt because it is obtained from rocks generally. Sodium nitrate, saltpeter, a white woolly crust in the soil from which it is obtained. Potassium nitrate, it is also called niter. It's a white woolly crust on the soil. Calcium carbonate, limestone, it is present in all soils and limestone rocks. Calcium phosphate, it is also present in all types of soil and also obtained from the phosphate rocks which contain large amount of phosphate are called phosphate rocks. Potassium aluminium silicate, it is also present in all types of soil, mica, and also present in china clay which is used for making china dishes. Use of salt. Sodium chloride. It is used as a flavoring agent in food. We know that common salt which we are using at home contains sodium chloride. It is present in saline water and is used for patient of dehydration. Third, use of sodium chloride. It is used in the manufacturing of hydrochloric acid, washing soda and caustic soda which is called NaOH. Sodium iodide. It's a very important salt. Is used as a supplement to common salt in iodized salt. It is present in iodized salt and it provides iodine in our food to prevent goiter, which is a harmful disease. Sodium carbonate, it is used as a washing soda and it is also used in the manufacturing of glass. Sodium benzoate, it is a food preservative, especially for pickles. Sodium benzoate used to preserve pickle. Potassium nitrate, it is a very important compound also because it is used for manufacturing of fertilizer, giving both potassium and nitrogen to the soil. It is also used to prepare gunpowder. It is a mixture of carbon, sulfur and potassium nitrate. It is also used in the matchstick, calcium carbonate limestone. It is used in the construction of building. It is also used in the cement industry and it is also used in the extraction of metals. Calcium sulfate, it is also called plastic of Paris with the formula 2CaSO4.H2O. A paste of plaster of Paris with water when applied on the over blocker limbs set like ordinary plaster, helping the limbs remain firm. Plaster of Paris is also used in making molds and statues. Now you are aware of POP, that is plaster of Paris. It is used in the cement industry in the form of gypsum having the formula CaSO4 2H2O. It is called gypsum. Third, it is used as a blackboard chalk. So it is also used for making the blackboard chalks. Calcium phosphate, it is also used for making fertilizers. Bleaching powder, it is a disinfectant and also used as a bleaching agent, that is for removing color. Alum, potassium aluminium sulfate is called alum. It is used in the purification of water to remove muddy substances settle down on adding alum in it. Second, it is used in dyeing industry and it is also used as an aftershave application. That aftershave alum is also used. You also called as fit curry in the common language. It is used as an aftershave due to its antiseptic property. Learn and note down all the important points. In next video, we will study the next part of this chapter. Please like and subscribe the channel for the latest update. Thank you.